Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to RJH live stream, Friday, 20th of August, 2021. And what a lovely day it's been today compared to what it has been recently. Lovely day, lovely day. If I look like I've caught the sun a bit today, I have been in the garden all day. So managed to get a lot of things I wanted done because the weather has been nice. So what have you been up to? Have you been having a good week? Have you had a good day? So yeah, welcome everybody to RJH live stream on Friday, the 20th of August 2021. And tonight is all about Module 1. Module 1. So spread the word, please. Like the video. It really does help get people coming on and watching, particularly those that are thinking about the Module 1. And it really does work. So yes, please do like and comment away. It spreads the word. So it's going to be a good one. We've covered it before, and we're going to cover it again. For all of you that have a Module 1 planned, thinking of Module 1, not sure about what's involved, not sure about how to do it, this is the video for you. Okay, so please do like and spread the word. So traditional congratulations to all those trainees that have started their journey. We've had a lot of tasters this week, and we have new riders coming through that have booked the full courses, and with us they get a couple of hours free taster before the CBT. So we had a few of those this week. We've had a lot of tasters this week. We've had a lot of CBTs, Module 1s and Module 2s, and I've got the 4th instructor training workshop post lockdown 3 starting next week. So a bit of everything. So personally, a big congratulations to all of you that have started your journeys, and those of you that have been successful in passing. Well done. And a big thank you to all of those that have messaged me. I've had messages from people that have passed tests up and down the country. So a big well done to you too. So there's the congratulations out the way. Yeah, Friday the 20th of August 2021, we're going to be talking about the Module 1. So this is going to benefit many of you. Please do like the video and share it. Share it, get more people watching it. Okay, it really does help. Module 1 is the subject. It's a big subject, Module 1. So how is everybody? Has everybody had a good day? Has everybody been out on the bikes? Have been working? Friday, is it your last day of the week? Got a weekend coming up, looking up? Anything planned on the bikes? Not sure what the weather forecast is like, but hope it is good where you are. Manchester has been nice today. Managed to cut the lawns. Got on top of the garden. So got a lot done. Looking good. And I'm off the weekend as well. Although I've got an induction on Sunday, so I'm going to go into work for a few hours on Sunday. And I've got a good meeting on Monday, so watch this space. Exciting times to come, possibly. Made a contact of a big gym owner in the Northwest. I've got a dozen gyms in the Northwest. So could be opening some doors with a big gym. Got lots of car parks in the gyms. So anyway, watch this space. Say no more. Don't want to give the game away, but a big meeting or a meeting, first meeting, say a big meeting. It's a meeting, an important meeting. So on Monday. So watch this space. Could have some exciting news to come later, because as you know, we are all actively, RJH are actively looking at opening more schools. Ideally open up from scratch, but I would be interested, as I've put videos on the last week or so, about buying schools that are maybe not maximizing what they are able to do. So exciting times. Watch this space. Let you know more maybe next week, but that meeting is on Monday. So let's have a look who's in the chat room tonight. Haider Katak. Haider, sorry I missed you this afternoon. Haider, I believe, lives in Birmingham. He's travelled up to Manchester to do his training with us. He was with Graham today. Met Charlie and Graham. So yeah, sorry I didn't get to see you, Haider. Maybe next time, but welcome to the chat room. Good evening, Lisa. Good evening, Dave. Good evening, Andy. And good evening, Dave. Dave McGrath. Is that a new name on the chat room, Dave? And whereabouts in South are you? Andy B, good evening. So Module 1 live stream tonight. That will certainly be helping you out then, Dave. You can ask any questions you want. We're going to go through the Module 1 test and see where the conversation goes, really. That's the plan, unless anybody's got any other ideas, but that is what is scheduled for tonight. And also set your reminders on for Sunday. Yeah, an evening Q&A with Bob the Biker. That's on Sunday. So set your reminders on for that one. It's becoming a regular weekly event. Hey, good evening, young Sophie. Sophie Utley is one of our new trainee instructors. Doing very, very well. So you can follow her on our social media platforms. Good evening, Flex. So good crowd coming along in the chat room tonight. And it is all about Module 1. So if I'm looking a bit tanned today, I'm looking a bit browner today, it's because I've been in the garden all day. The sun has been shining, so I've been able to get out and spend all day in the garden. We've got quite a big garden, and I haven't been able to touch it for a month or two. So I will be spending another couple of days in it over the next few days, get on top of it. I've filled up 2 brown wheelie bins already of decomposable stuff. Foliage and grass and weeds and trees and goodness only knows what. So that's what I've been doing today. And I do want to, if the sun is shining over the weekend, because I'm not working, I'm looking at also doing a quick review of my Honda CB500X, which I've been trying to fit some time in over the last few weeks. But anyway, that's what I've been doing. So who's been doing what today? The sun's been shining. I trust that you've all been out on your bikes. I know where Haider's been today, and I know where Sophie's been today. I know where Lisa's been today. So Haider has been in Manchester this afternoon. Sophie's been in Northwich today, and Lisa's been in Manchester today. Hey, Bob the Gardener. Yeah, well, I could be Bob the Gardener. On Sunday, I'm Bob the Biker, but on Sunday, I could be Bob the Gardener. On coach home to Birmingham from a day's Mod 2 training in Eccles. Fantastic to hear, Hayden. It's brilliant. People coming from all over. And I tell you, you deserve to get those passes, Hayden, because to get a coach from Birmingham to Manchester to come and visit us, it truly means a lot. And, you know, you deserve everything that you're putting into it. Let me tell you now. And I hope that we come up with a good young man. Dave Smith in Newbury. Newsbury, Saints. And when I'm down, I'll tell you what, now when I'm down that way in Newsbury, I'm going to pop into bleeding Sainsbury's and come and see you. Fantastic to hear, Hader. Fantastic to hear. So quite a few in the chat room then. So let's start talking about this module 1. Oh, we've got some more coming along now. Sophie, yes, we had a fabulous 3 guys on their CBTs, all 3 looking to do DAS and live the dream. That's what it's about, Sophie. We all want to live the dream. Welsh Womble, good evening. Jules. Oh, Waitrose. Oh, I'm glad you said that. I would have come to Sainsbury's. They're owned by the same people, aren't they? Waitrose and Sainsbury. Waitrose in Newbury. I'm going to put that on my to-do list. And we'll come and see you when we're in that part of the world. Dave Smith. So, yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good. And we have a good crowd in the chat room tonight. And this is what I want to talk about. Okay, module 1. Okay, so what do we need to know? We'll start from the start, start from the beginning, I suppose. Module 1. If anybody wants to ask any questions, get cracking with the questions. I will get through them all. And remember, anybody that's asking questions, there's so much experience on the chat room, not just myself, but so much experience, and we can all contribute and help each other out. But what I'm talking about module 1, and module 1, I suppose you can look at it as the 3rd out of 4 parts of obtaining your full bike license. There's 4 stages to obtain your full motorcycle license, and that is your CBT, your theory test, your module 1 test, and your module 2 test. So your module 1 is part 3 out of 4. I suppose you can look at it like that. Most, yes, Hader, they have a purpose surface. Even the casual. So I know there was a casual module 1 test facility in Macclesfield, which is gone now, but it's rugby car park. They resurfaced it for the rugby club because it's an it's a special grip surface. So yes, I would say most that I know of do have a special surface. Yes. So module 1 is part 3 out of 4 parts. Yeah, as we said, CBT, theory, module 1, module 2. In order to do your module 1, so when you're presenting yourself or you're being presented to the module 1 test, it's very important that you have the correct documentation. The documentation would be your photo card driving license, or if it's an old style license, a paper part, then also a photo ID like a passport. So you need your license. You'd need your motorcycle theory test certificate. And very important that it's the originals. It's not a photocopy, it's the original. And you would also need your CBT certificate, again, original, not a photocopy. And make sure it's all filled in correctly, particularly at CBT. We get people that start the training with us, done the CBT somewhere else. We have to send them back to the training school that issued the CBT because it's not been filled out correctly. So make sure your CBT is filled out correctly, because you don't want to get to the test centre and then find that it's not acceptable, because you lose the fee. And I know we do check all the documents. The first lesson that you come to us, we check all the documents. We put all your documents into a file, and then we're sort of looking after that file. When you come for your test day, we take your documents off you. We present your documents to the test examiner. So we sort of take that responsibility off of you just to help you out. Makes it a little bit easier for you guys and girls. So make sure you got all your right documents. Module 1, I suppose you need to make sure you get there on time. Okay, and that's up to us. So when you have your schedule with us, you're asked to get to us at a certain time. Don't be late. You put pressure on all of the team, so make sure you're there on time. Make sure you've got all your correct documents. We take that off you. And also make sure you know you're wearing the correct gear. So, ankle protection, footwear, minimum denim, jeans. We provide everything apart from the footwear. So make sure that you have the correct gear, wearing the correct gear. Make sure you have the correct documentation. Okay, very, very important. We help you out. We don't just let you. I mean, I know I've seen people go to the test centre and the documents are fell out of the back pocket of the jeans because, well, we always take the documents off you. We take that responsibility. We lay the documents out to the examiner for you. We take that pressure off of you. That's just all part of our service. So good evening, Sylvia, the sergeant from over in Northwich and Wigan, one of our female multi-site managers, Sylvia Eager, aka the sergeant. And yeah, so that's where we are. Then we're at the module 1, third part out of 4, and you know what you need to be wearing, and you know what documents you need to be taking. Yeah. At present, you also need to have a face mask when you meet the examiner. So there's one I carry around just in case I'm out in any shops. But RGH provide you with a neck tube. So anybody that we present for test, anybody that we as a school present for test, we make sure that you've got your neck tube so you can cover your face up when you meet the examiner, drop it for when you have the license. But when you're riding the bike, you don't need it on. But still, at the moment, you need a face covering. And also, some schools, some test centres still at the moment like you to have your own pen. Okay, but check with your instructors. There isn't a consistent approach to it from the DVSA. We use 8 different test centres and no 2 are the same. Why? I do not know. It's one of my big bugbears that in one test centre they're very relaxed, and another test centre which is only 10 miles up the road, they're like a military organisation and you can't get in there within 10 minutes and stuff like that. Why? I don't know. Anyway, just check with your instructors. They will be able to help you. So we know what we're doing. We know what time. We know what we're wearing. We know what we're taking. So we're there. Okay. We are there at the test centre and we're ready to go. So how's that? How is that? I'm going to open the window because it's getting a little bit warm in here. There, let a bit of fresh air into the office. So let's see what else we got. Still the same. Fortune HD. Good evening, Andy. Thanks for coming along. Good evening, Sylvia. Good evening, Robbie. Good evening. There's a few more coming along now. Yeah, and the chat room is looking very, very healthy tonight. Remember, everybody, share the video, like the video, comment away. It does spread around on the YouTube. It gets more people watching tonight. And yeah, remember the free CBT that I've got available. And that is for when we reach 100 people watching the live stream at once. The record was 62. We've not got to that one again. Keep trying. We'll keep trying. But when we get to 100 people watching the video at the same time, we will be putting a question out there. First question correct will get that free CBT. And that can be used across our 3 sites, Wigan, Northwich and Manchester. But watch this space. As I announced again this morning, I've got a meeting with a company on Monday, a gym owner in the Northwest. There's about a dozen gyms in the Northwest. So we could be looking at doing something certainly with one of those, but who knows where that could lead to. I have a very, very important meeting on Monday. Watch your space. Could be more than 3 sites coming along very, very soon. Good evening, Andrew Dakin. New to the channel, Andrew. Do I recognize that name? I think I might recognize that name. Recognize that name, I think. If not, get yourself subscribed to the channel. Like the video, it will spread out. We want more people joining, want more people watching. So we're at the test center then. We've got to the test center on time, and we are ready. Was it a score? Was it a test center on? Was it a test center last week? And one school had one test at one time, and then there would have been another test in between, another test afterwards. Can't park in the car park. You've got to push your bikes in 10 minutes before. That's one of my bugbears at this certain test center anyway. And there's another school, local school, one of our competitors brings the bikes in. I'm thinking, well, maybe they weren't even on. They didn't even know what time their test was. Pushed it back out. And then the examiner's coming out and was calling from outside on the road. Come on, you test. They didn't have a clue what their time was. Anyway, the person failed. I had 2 passes. Standards, eh? So you're at the test center just before your time. You've got all the right gear on. You've got all your documents ready. The examiner will call you into his little. They generally call you into the garage. There's a little bike garage at the back of the side of the test centre. That's what we generally call you at the moment. So call you in there, just you. We'll come in with you, put the documents out, help you out. And then you check all your documents, make sure he's got the correct email, ask you to stand a certain place, drop the face mask, check your ID, yes, get you to sign the declaration, and that's pretty much it. So he's checked your documents, he's checked what you're wearing, and then he'll ask you to lead you out to your bike. And then your test has started, really. Your test has started. You're not even on your bike yet. Okay, and that's important to remember. It's important to remember your test has started at that point. So when you're getting on the bike, and you're going to be riding into the test facility, that's where your test has started. And he will remind you, no, they're good lads. The examiners are good lads. They will remind you to take out all the necessary checks that you would on the public highway. So, you know, looking around, particularly in the car park, because you can get other learners coming in and out. So you don't want to be interfering or putting yourself or them in any awkward situations. So have a good look around and just take your time. Very important, though, that you check your mirrors and shoulders before you move away into it, even though you're not in the test facility yet. Faults then. So how many faults can you accumulate on your module 1? How many faults can you accumulate on your module 1? Who's got that answer then? Five, Dave. So you can pass with 5 minor faults. Well done. 6 minor faults would be a fail. Yep, well done. 5 minor faults is a pass. 6 minor faults is a fail. But 1 serious fault or 1 dangerous fault would be a fail. Okay. And going through the module 1 discussion this evening, we'll be going through things that would possibly cause you a problem on your test and fail. Now, what I will highlight again, because I know I have 1 or 2 examiners watching my live streams. Good evening, Wayne. Yeah, I do have 1 or 2 examiners watching my live streams, and they don't contribute. I don't think it's fair that, you know, I think they possibly get themselves into awkward situations if they comment in, but they do. So I've had a chat with 1 or 2 of them, and they've, yeah, so we watching your videos, and they helped me out a little bit, because one of the things that I said could be misleading, which we'll go on to shortly. But what I will highlight is that I am not an examiner. Okay, and what you and your examiner discuss on your test is between you. It's not between me. But what I'm going through and what I'm putting on my videos is from my experience. And my experience is that I've been an instructor for my own business for 19 years. So my experience is what I'm passing over. I've been conducting the Module 1 training since it came out in 2009. Okay, so there's a lot of experience there, but it is my experiences. And my experience isn't necessarily what is going to happen when you go for your test and your examiner and you discuss what's going on with you. So thought I'd get that out there now. But you know, we've got a lot of experience, which we are passing on to you, ladies and gents. Okay. So do we all know how long the module 1's been out then? Because it's been out since 2009. They wanted to introduce it in 2008, but they weren't ready. So they brought it out in 2009. And it's been tweaked since then a little bit. When it was first introduced, you didn't get a controlled stop sight. Like, we didn't get a controlled stop. When it came out, you went straight into the hazard avoidance before the emergency stop, and there wasn't a 5% tolerance. You know, first go you had to be 32. So they've sort of learned from that early test after a few years, introducing it, making it a little bit more helpful for you guys. Okay, so it has been tweaked a little bit, but generally speaking, it is very much the same. Okay. Yes, Sophie. Sophie is a training to be an instructor. She's doing very, very well. She's being mentored by Ashley. over in Northwich, but also she's been coming over to Eccles. She's doing very, very well. She's certainly putting the time in, and look forward to Sophie being an addition to our team. So let's think about your examiner then asking you to ride your bike into the test centre facility. So he'll open up the gate, ask you to ride in. Don't forget your observations. Don't forget. And wait for him the other side of the gate. He'll then close the gate, show you the chart, and then he'll ask you to ride and park up in either of the green bays. There's 8 green cones, 2 sets of 4. He'll ask you to park in either one. Now, as a school, we will always encourage you to ride and park into the right-hand bay, because it's a lot easier then to push it into the opposite bay in one scoop rather than going backwards and forwards and back and forwards. So don't forget your control position. Don't forget your mirrors and shoulders before you move off. Okay. When you go and park up into the parking bay, then the sequence that we recommend for you to do it is you park up in the bay. Yeah, you pop the bike into neutral. You turn the engine off, pop it on the side stand and dismount in that order. So why do we put it in that order? Why do we get you to select neutral, turn the engine off, put the side stand down and dismount? Why do we get you to do it in that order, ladies and gents? Is there a reason that we get you to put it in that order? Also, the bike needs to be within the bay. So if your bike's sticking out from the bay, that could cause you a problem. So the question is, why do we get you to select neutral, turn the engine off, put the stand down and dismount? Why do we get you to do it in that order? That is the question. Good evening, Wayne. Failed your mod 1.1. Yeah, has Charlie been in touch about another mod 1? If he's not, then you need to give him a little nudge, Wayne. We've got some more tests that have opened during this next month. So give him a little nudge and get yourself sorted. Sophie, Hader, yep. Alex L, got your CBT and direct access book starting the 17th of October. Never been on a bike before, but looking forward to it and been watching all your content. Fantastic, Alex. Where are you doing, mate? Where are you doing your training? Yeah, why do we make sure it's in neutral before turning the engine off? Wayne. Cumbria, Carlisle. So who's doing your training? I know somebody in Lancaster. Not a million miles. So we make sure it's in neutral before. Make sure it's in neutral. Turn the engine off. Stops the bike rolling away from you. And also it means that you're not. If you go down for the side stand with the engine running, you might flick it into gear. So always get that engine secured. It is what you do at an end of ride, but can you imagine if you just turn the engine off with it in gear, then you're going to get flustered on a test. If you left the engine, popped it into neutral, left the engine running, went down for the side stand, kicked it into gear, it'd stall and lose control. And always make sure you give the side stand a couple of little nudges to make sure it's fully, engaged, so it won't flick back up on itself. Okay. Alex L, Peter Cairns motorcycle training, very good. I wish you well, Alex. Keep watching the videos, the live streams. There's a lot of information on here which will give you a head start. If you turn the engine off in first gear and let the clutch out, you would not have stopped fully and your bike will jerk forward and perhaps crack. Yep, good. Wayne, if left in gear, it's pretty hard to move. Yep, and I've had a lad couldn't move the bike and he got flustered on a test. And bless him, he even got down on his hands and knees to, he said to me that he thought there was a stone underneath the tyre which was stopping him moving it. He hadn't realised that he'd left it into first gear. So when the examiner helped him out, then he did everything else fine, but failed him on that. So make sure it is in neutral, yeah, because when you're under that test situation, you do get a little bit, your judgment can get clouded. I would say one of the biggest causes of your fails, in my experience, the biggest causes is nerves. So, as somebody put me foot down on the U-turn, never done it in training, put me whatever, I hit the cone, never done it in training, because you wouldn't be there if you weren't ready for your test. When we present people for tests, generally speaking, everybody is proved that they're worthy to be there, they deserve to be there. But when you're there, and you get some people react to test situations in different ways, so it's nerves are the biggest contributor, okay, to people that are struggling on their test. Figs, Sophie, or pigs? Figs or pigs? So who can tell me what figs is an acronym for, or pigs is an acronym for them? Yeah, stupid mistakes. Listen, Wayne, you're not going to be the first and you're not going to be the last, but you will get it. Yeah, that's the important thing, is you will get it. Okay, so manual handling, then the objective is to show that you can push the bike into another bay facing the opposite way and control safely. Yeah, if you drop the bike, Andy, on your manual handling, I think it's fair to say the examiner would terminate the test. I think it's fair to say that your test will be terminated. So important thing is not to drop it. Take your time, go forwards, backwards as much time as you want. So take it off the stand, look over both shoulders before you move it. Right hand on the grab rail or the seat of the bike, left hand on the left handlebar. Look around, shoulders before you move off, look where you're going. Don't lean the bike towards you or away from you. That's where you will feel the weight. Keep the bike upright. Don't try and turn the steering if you're stationary, because that's dry steering. Your steering is a lot easier the handlebars are a lot easier to move if the wheel is moving, okay? Look where you're going. And practice it. If you're struggling with it, practice it before you go for your test. Don't struggle with it. Practice, practice, practice. Make sure you're comfortable. It's far better to put another lesson in before your test than go for your test unprepared. Yeah, coffee, certain foods. Just keep hydrated. Plenty of water. Keep yourself hydrated. So you've pushed the bike around, so it's in the opposite bay facing outwards. So yeah, you're riding into the bay, pushing it around so you're facing the opposite way. What's the next exercise? So every exercise is stop, start, stop, start. An examiner explains what he wants to do. So what is the exercise after then the manual handling? Who's got the exercise after the manual handling? Yes, Sophie, I think it is fair to say it would be a good idea to breathe. It's a good idea to get some air into your lungs, okay? Don't hold your breath for too long. We don't want you going blue in the lips. Well done, Wayne and Dave. So Wayne starts off with the slalom and then into the figure of 8. Slalom and figure of 8. So it's those two in one. Slow speed control. Watch the videos in the description below. There's lots of videos, and I've got live streams of slow speed controls that can help you out. but it's the slow speed control, which is your gas and clutch, your rear brake. Best to do this one with a bit of rhythm. So we would teach you to do this 6, 7, 8 miles an hour. And you see people on the test trying to do it at 4 miles an hour, feet down, stop. Oh, no. Get some rhythm. Let the bike flow. Look where you're going. Use your body. So very important to start off at the beginning in first gear, control position, check your mirrors and your shoulders, your observations before you set off. Enter the first 2 yellow cones. And then once you get to the blues, get your figure of 8 done. Keep going on the figure of 8 until your examiner calls you out. He will get you to do at least 2. He will get you to do at least 2. So golden rule, do not hit a cone over. Do not put your foot down whilst you're riding. Leave the front brake alone. Other than that, you'll be fine. It's a doddle. You know, we've got the slalom and figure of 8 on our training sites. You can do these hundreds of times if you needed to. And they get people that practice on the multi-purpose test centre, and they go there and they fail, and they say, I've only done this twice, only done 2 figures of 8. What? You can do 200 with us. Anybody got anything about the slalom figure of 8 that will cause them a problem? Oh, the manual handling, I suppose, as well. If you miss your observations, that would be a problem. If you walk into a cone, that would be a problem. Drop the bike would be a problem. If you don't park the bike in the bay, the opposite bay, that will be a problem if it isn't in the bay. And I suppose, what else would be a problem? About it, I think. Drop the bike. But you can go backwards and forwards as many times as you want. Yeah. I mean, all of our test centres that we use 8 of them in the Northwest. But they can take you an hour and a quarter to get to the test centre before your Module 1 test, which means you've got a really good lot of saddle time, haven't you? Means that you should be nice and relaxed. You know, I've seen schools where they put the bike in a van and meet you at the test centre. You have to drive to the test centre. Then they get the bike out of the van. It's not even the bike that you've done your training on. It's a different one. And you can't even have a practice. So you're straight onto the Module 1. And then it does all sorts of daft stuff because you know, whereas we can, as I say, we can have an hour and a quarter ride to the test centre. Yep. So you know, on the test, Wayne, there is a lot of space. So once you finish your slalom figure of 8, he calls you out of the figure of 8. Listen to him. He'll call you out, and he'll get you lined up for the slow speed. This is where you slow speed, and you've got 4 blue cones preparing you for the U-turn. Now, what I've told people generally is get your front wheel in the 4 blue cones, which I'll continue to tell you to do that. Get your front wheel when you're doing your slow speed in a straight line. When your examiner's following you behind you, we get you to get your front wheel in the box. But the examiner and certainly in Atherton say that you don't have to get your front wheel in the box. Get the front wheel up as close to the blue cones as you can, in between the 2 blue cones at the start of the box. So, but we will always teach you to get your front wheel in the box. Okay, but you don't actually need to. You can get your front wheel up to the 2, if that makes sense. Slow speed in a straight line. So he stops you after the slalom, explains what he wants you to do. Slalom figure 8, explains what he wants you to do, asks you if you've got any questions, and then you're riding it to it. We want you to do this about 4 miles an hour. Use your back brake, you walk behind you. Don't go too fast. About 4 miles an hour. So slalom figure of 8 is about 6, 7, 8 miles an hour. Slow speed in a straight line is about 4 miles an hour. Once you stop, pop it to neutral, wait. Then it's the dreaded U-turn. People say the dreaded U-turn. I had a live stream last night on the U-turn. You can watch that. There's also in the description below some videos on U-turns. U-turn is very easy if you practice it, make sure. But I've got some top tips on the U-turn on my live stream from yesterday, so watch that. Lots of things like counterweight, looking where you're going, the pace, observations, stuff like that. But very, very important with your U-turn is your observations. Make sure your lifesavers are there before you set off. Before you commit to the turn, make sure you get a final lifesaver. You can do a rolling U-turn or a standstill. We generally will teach you to do a rolling, but I know schools do teach to do a standstill. Some prefer to do that. That's okay. Very important, that lifesaver, leave your front brake alone. Speed, I would say again, 6, 7, 8 miles per hour, bit like the slalom figure 8. Get a bit of rhythm. The slower you go, the harder you're going to make it for yourself. Yes, you can, Hader. There's no right or wrong how you do it, as long as what you're doing is in control and you are safe. Yeah, if your seat's not very comfortable, then you are going to get a numb, Dave. The ride to the test centre is invaluable. RJH Habits says, thank you, Sophie. Yes, so I mean, if you're in Northwich doing a Module 1 in Shrewsbury, I cannot think of a nicer road to go to than the A49 from Cheshire into Shropshire to pass your Module 1 and come back on. 50 miles of pure heavenly roads. The A49 is a beauty. There you go, Sophie. I love U-turns now. Such an achievement when you master it. I'm proud of mine now. I'll have to have a look at you, Sophie. I'll give you an assessment on your U-turn. How's that? Make sure you've not got any bad habits. But yeah, the ride to the test centre from Northwich to Shrewsbury is heaven. The A49. But then you could go to St Helens from Northwich, which is the complete opposite. You will become a DAS instructor, Sophie. You keep doing what you're doing. You will get there. It's a question of time, isn't it? It's all about timing. And yes, become a DAS instructor. So rides to test centres, good. U-turn then. Let's go back to the slow speeds. If you go too fast, they won't like that. Miss your observations, that's going to be a problem on your test, isn't it? Put your foot down is going to be a problem on your test. Wobble around, I suppose it could give you a problem. And if you don't stop where you're supposed to, that will be a problem. The U-turn, so we discussed that, but the U-turn, if you miss your lifesavers, your observations, if you go on the white line, that will be a minor fault. Go outside of the white line, that's a serious fault. Put your foot down on the U-turn would be a problem. Miss your lifesaver on a U-turn would be a problem. So watch out for all of that. What comes after the U-turn then, ladies and gents? What comes after the U-turn? Anybody got anything? Controlled stop, Wayne. Yes, well done. The controlled stop, which is where you're now going to go all the way around the other end of the yard. All of your slow speed is all down the bottom, isn't it? But now you're going to be going up around the top. For your control stop, you've got to stop with your front wheel now in the 4 blue cones. Very, very important. Very important to stop with your front wheel in the 4 blue cones. But we recommend having a go at getting up to speed on this. Why not? Have a go at getting up to speed. And, you know, the important thing is control stop, stopping with your front wheel in the box. Front wheel in the box of 4 blue cones. And he's looking at how you're stopping. So make sure it's nice and smooth. So how would you stop smoothly then with your front wheel in the box? How would you all stop smoothly? Good evening, Brandon. Brandon had a Module 1 session on Tuesday in Eccles. Fantastic to hear, Brandon. Fantastic to hear. That was with myself, was it not? On the A2. It was on the Kawasaki 400, and that was with Alex. Alex went on to pass, by the way. Alex passed. So you'll be next, Brandon. So controlled stop, we'll come back to that in a minute. A few more coming on the chat. So let's have a look. Wayne. Andy, is it 32, 35? Anyway, minimum 32. 35 is good, though. Brandon, yep. Daniel Hopley, good evening, Daniel. Nice of you to join us, Daniel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, matey. A name that I recognize. Sophie. So ABC, 70-30 drive, 50-50 wet, lean slight, left stop, in control position. Fantastic, Sophie. A lot of potential there with Sophie. Not too hard on the back and sort on the front. Yeah. So very important, ABC, front wheel in the box. Stop it in first gear, not a problem, but very important, the front wheel is in the box. And if it's not in the box, you've got a big problem, okay? Whilst you're there, pop it into neutral, you wait, and then you put 1 cone onto the other, so you'll then got 2 blue cones, not the 4. And he asks you to turn around. It's not a U-turn, just turn around, take as much room as you want. Don't forget your observations moving off, though. Yeah, so that's a controlled stop. What is following the controlled stop then? So what comes after the controlled stop? What comes after the controlled stop? Well done, Wayne. Alex, emergency stop. And this one is measured. So this one is measured. And the objective, of course, is to stop in the shortest possible distance in control, given the conditions. Yeah, that's the objective. Speed. No, that's next, Dave. You're a bit premature, Dave. You're getting ahead of the game. We haven't discussed the emergency stop yet. Slow down, Dave. He's like a Jack Russell, is Dave. Emergency stop. All of the bikes that we present to test for the emergency stop now, anyway, are ABS. A few years ago, they weren't. If I go back 5 years ago, some of the old bandits that we used to use didn't have ABS. So it's only more modern times are ABS. So fantastic brakes. You don't get any better braking system than ABS. But bear in mind, if you've not got ABS, you're going to be braking a bit more. You need to be a bit more aware, don't you, on the emergency stop, in particularly if it's raining. But yeah, so as Sophie said, emergency stop also is 70-30 front back, 70 front, 30 back in good conditions, 50 front, 50 back in poor conditions, wet conditions. That's a braking pressure. It's not lever mode, it's braking pressure. So a bit more on the front, less on the back in good conditions. Best braking systems you can get. And on your test, it doesn't matter if your ABS is working, doesn't matter. But be aware if it is working. If you didn't have ABS brakes, then you'd be likely to be skidding. So what you want to be thinking is stopping as quickly, as safely as you can. The high speeds, I think it's all about planning. And if you can go around the top corner at 20 miles an hour, then you've got time to get up to 32 to 35 quite comfortably. And we will always teach you to stay in second gear. So if you go around the top corner at 20 to 32 on the straight is effortless. Now, if you go into the top corner and you're only doing 5 or 10 miles an hour, you're putting pressure on yourself, because when you come out of the corner, you're going to have to give it a lot more gas a lot quicker, and that's added pressure. So if you plan this, then it's a lot easier. Get your speed where you want it, between 32 and 35 miles per hour at the first red cones, and that's the last time you want to look at your speedo. Then you can concentrate on what the examiner is going to do, because as soon as you come through the speed trap, the right hand's going to go up and he will want you to stop quickly and safely. Don't roll up to him. Don't stop and then roll up to him. Stop. Very important. And I see it time and time again where after the emergency stop, over to the gate, please. He's terminated your test because you've not stopped quick enough. People get confused. People are cautious. They're not comfortable. Put more training in. Make sure you are comfortable and confident on your emergency stop, because you'll be waiting for a retest for a long time. Do not ride up to the examiner. And I'll keep saying it, but I see it every time I go to the test centre, different training schools, and pupils will stop on the emergency stop and that's it. They don't get to do the avoidance because they've not stopped as quickly as what the examiner thinks they could have done. The faster you go, the longer it's going to take to stop. Come through at 32 to 35 miles per hour. If you're doing 60 kilometers, 40 miles an hour, you're daft. You're absolutely mental. There's no need. So 32 to 35 miles per hour. Good evening, Andrew Panda. Passed your mod 2 today. Fantastic. Congratulations. Welcome to the club. Where did you pass? Haders, you're most welcome. I would suggest learn. Yeah, good. So emergency stop. Yeah, no skidding. And leave your gears alone if you can. ABC, front brake, back brake, clutch. So are we all happy with that? If your speed is okay and he's happy with the emergency stop, he will come up to you and he will say to you that I will not ask you to do that again. And that means he's happy with it. I will not ask you to do that again. Eastbourne, fantastic to hear. Glad the videos have helped you. He might also say to you, okay, it's not quite fast enough. We need you to have another go. Of which case, you were outside of the 5%, because you can get 5%. He'll measure you in kilometers per hour. So 50 kilometers per hour is fine. 49, 48 is a minor fault, and that's fine. But 47 kilometers per hour is not acceptable. You'd have to do it again. And if you have a second go, it's not a problem, but second go is always a bit more pressure. Yeah, 100% great content. Thank you very much. 5 years, 6 years of videos on the channel. A lot of content. Take what you want. That's the thing I tell everybody. Take what you need. Take what you want. But, of late, certainly the last 3-4 months, we have the weekly live streams. So You know, we're getting a great audience. We're getting a lot more interaction with the live streams. So not going to stop doing videos. We'll continue to upload videos, but the trend at the moment are the live streams. And I believe that I am the only UK-based training school that is offering live streams. So, you know, we are getting a lot of people from up and down the country who are benefiting from the live stream. So long may it continue. Emergency stop. So yeah, won't get you to do it again if he's happy. You might have to do it again if you're not. Okay. If you're on a bike that hasn't got ABS and you're skidding on your emergency stop, then you're going to have problems. Obviously, you're going to have to release the brakes and reapply it. Just depends on how long the skid is, how the bike's responded to the skid, how you've responded to skid, as to what the outcome is. I have had people in the old days that have skidded on an emergency stop on the test and passed. Others have skidded on the emergency stop and failed. It just depends on that situation. And that, again, is between you and your examiner. Good evening, Mr. Paul Sugden. Yeah, Laith, you're okay, mate. We're only an hour in, so you've not missed much. You can always play it back, can't you? You can always play it back. So we are an hour in, and the beauty with the live streams is that you can play it back. That's the beauty of them. So if you don't get to do the hazard avoidance, if it's stopped on the emergency stop, then there's a problem. If you're getting to do the emergency stop, then that's good news. If you're getting to do the hazard avoidance after the emergency stop, that's good news. So the hazard avoidance, really replicating a door opening, swerving around it, or avoiding a pothole or something like that. Speed needs to be the same, 32. Planning it again is going to be the same. So 20 on the top bend, up to your 32 to 35 on the straight. If you're doing 20 on the bend, it's a lot easier. If you're only doing 5 or 10 on the bend, it's a lot harder. So plan the speed. Very important, you don't close the throttle until you're through the speed trap. Don't brake until you've straightened up. Look where your destination is. Don't look at the speedo in the cones. Don't look at the blue cones. Don't look at any of the cones. Look at your destination. Anybody got any tips for the hazard avoidance? Anybody done a hazard avoidance and found it easy, hard? Anybody got any tips? Northern Ireland, lucky man. The objective obviously is speed, avoid the blue cones, or the one blue cone by the red, getting through the blue cones. But yeah, the objective is to 20 around the top bend. You want to be up to 32, 35 at the first red. There's your speed trap. Don't close your throttle until you're through. Close your throttle. Don't brake until you're straightening up. Yeah. Certainly don't want to be braking on the avoidance. Front brake, back brake. Yes, so if you're closing the throttle too early, you will drop the speed. And generally, the speeds are recorded slower on the avoidance and the emergency stop because of that reason. So don't close the throttle until you're through the speed. Close the throttle on the avoidance. Get your speed up to 32, 35. And then if it does close a little bit early, you've still got a few miles an hour to play around with. But if you're very cautious on the avoidance anyway, and you're closing too early, then, it is going to be under, isn't it? Hader, I practiced the official CGI clips from 7. Yeah, hazard perception. Yeah, good. Maybe we should do a live stream on the theory test. That might be an idea. If we did a live stream on the theory test, that could be a good one. I need to do a bit of homework on it though, because I haven't done one myself for a little bit. Yeah, so you can get a minor. So if you come through the high speed emergency stop or the hazard avoidance at 49 or 48, you get a minor fault, but then that's acceptable. You won't get a second attempt. But if you're on if you come through at 47 kilometers per hour, that's outside of the 5% under. So it'd be a minor fault on a second attempt. And if you're still under, then that would then be a serious fault. But anything above 50, so 50 is spot on. Anything above 50 is not a problem. We had a lad, had my highest high speed come through about a month ago in Darwin. He came through at 68 kilometers per hour on the emergency stop, and he went right down. He had to stop right down by the examiner. He passed with a bollocking, so the examiner absolutely nailed him. No need to be going fast. No need at all to be going so fast. So 50 kilometers per hour, 52 kilometers per hour, maybe 35. So 50 is 32. What was 52? 35-ish. So, that is a good. Are you allowed to stick your knee out a bit to help you go around the bend at 20? Well, I suppose you can, but there's no need to. You're not. There's no need to stick your knee out at 20. But no, I wouldn't think. As long as you're in control of the bike, I don't think there'll be any problem with that. Yeah, so you got a slap on the wrist for doing 60 on the emergency stop. Well, I had a lad came through at the emergency stop doing 68. So he's come through doing 68, and as I say, he stopped quickly as he could, given the speed, right down by the examiner, and the examiner bollocked him. Yeah, grip the tank is best. It is. Gripping the tank is best. Likewise, on the hazard avoidance, get 2 attempts if your speed is wrong. Hit any cones over, you can have a problem. Told you what the problems were on the emergency stop, taking too long. Avoidance, if you're hitting a cone over, not stopping in between the 2 blue cones. There will be problems. Speed is the biggest, and hitting that blue cone. But if he's happy with everything, then ride over to the gate. Well, even if he isn't happy, he's still going to be riding over to the gate. And he'll let you out back into the car park, and then, pretty much get your result straight away. And all being well, you get your certificate, of which then you need to put with all the others. So then you've got a license, a theory, a CBT, and a module 1. And you need to take all of those for your module 2. And there are live streams on module 2s, and we'll be doing another live stream. I know I keep repeating these live streams, but we're getting different audiences every time. We're getting different questions, getting different experiences. So whilst it is the same content, it's being brought out in a different way. So, it's all good. Dave Thomas, fantastic. Thank you for joining, Dave. You were with us in St. Helens yesterday. You came over from Blackpool. So Dave came over from Blackpool. 40 miles per hour on your... yeah, you did. And Dave actually had a go at getting up to speed on his control stop as well. So we had that sort of run where having a go getting up to speed, even though you're not being measured. So you can use that as a free go. But both Dave and Alex both passed with me yesterday, first time in St. Helens. Never been there before, never used the facility. We don't train on the facility. I think we have a better pass rate on the module 1 than a lot of our counterparts schools, and we don't use it. Alan Weatherly Fishing got mod 1 at the end of the month. A little bit nervous. Well, Alan, a lot of people in this chat room now have been where you are going to be where you are, so they will all comment, but it is perfectly normal to be nervous. My advice would be is to make sure you put the training in. Make sure your instructor is happy to present to you for test. Listen to your instructors. If they advise you to put another lesson in, they don't just do it because they're thinking of more money. They are doing it because they want you to pass. We all want you to pass. So it is perfectly normal to be nervous. Absolutely perfectly normal. Hey, so we got 20 people then watching. That's not bad, is it? For a Friday night, and I've had 5 people subscribe to the channel on the back of the live stream tonight. Yeah, smooth with the controls. Slow ride, 4 miles per hour. So 4 on the straight. Yeah, slalom figure of 8, you want 6, 7, 8. U-turn, you want 6, 7, 8. I get a lot of riders when I see them there. They're going too slow, thinking, go on, get a bit of rhythm. Going too slow, feet down. Get that rhythm. Get that 6, 7, 8 miles per hour. It makes it a lot easier. So I think we've covered module 1. That's a very wise words from young shoulders there, Sophie Utley. Yeah, and enjoy, Alan. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. It's the beginning of a life of freedom. Take your time learning as much as you can to master it. Fantastic advice. I couldn't say it better myself. He said once through the gate, an examiner told me to go to the 4 green cones, just practice going at walking pace, and then the slalom, obviously not going near the bollards. I found this helped. Absolutely. Yeah, some good advice, Paul. Yeah, good. And that's I'll tell you what, Andy, that is sound advice as well, because a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people just go straight to it. When you have a chat with the examiner, don't rush it. Focus. Think about what you're doing before you do it. Very good advice, Andy. Alex, I've been driving for 16 years, but never been on a motorcycle. Do you notice any bad habits when training people in this same situation? Yeah, we do. Car driver's nice and confident, but overconfident on 2 wheels, not got the experience. So just got to rein you in a little bit. You've not got that experience. Following distances, things like that. But yeah, there can be observations. What we do find, though, the YouTube channel, when people do come to us from other schools, they've been watching the YouTube channel, and they're almost, we know you've been watching our YouTube channels because you're doing your mirrors and shoulder, you know, where have you got that from? Oh, YouTube. So yeah, we do see. Yes, being a biker makes you a better rider. Absolutely. Where are you doing your Mod 1, Alan? Where are you from, fella? It does. If every car driver had to pass a Mod 1 or 2 manually before the car test, we'd have less accidents on the roads, and there really be. Yeah, I mean, I think years ago we say everybody should do a CBT. Everybody should do some sort of a CBT course, but that's not going to happen. But yeah, if you are a motorcyclist and a car driver, becoming a motorcyclist certainly does make you a better car driver. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think I've covered much of the module 1 as I can. Is there anything else that I've not covered on module 1? Then quickly let me know. I'm going to be disappearing shortly. Robbie, took me biking for first service day, 6 miles of experience and starting to enjoy it more and more. Thanks for all your advice and tips, Rob. They do make a big difference. Fantastic to hear, Rob. Enjoy the bike. And yeah, first service out the way. Now get some serious miles under your belt. CBT should be every 12 months. Yeah, it should. 2 years, too long. 2 years, too long, but that's the law. Been doing life saves in my car since passing my CBT. Motorcycle riding does improve my awareness. Yeah, it certainly does. Long live Gunners 10. So when are you going to do your full bike license, mate? When are you going to thinking about doing that? Or are you happy riding a 125? Some people are happy riding around on a 125. Well, everybody's different, but thank you very much, Dave. I've got an induction on Sunday, so I'm going to be going into work on Sunday. Got a new starter, and I've got I'm in the garden, mate. Saturday and Monday, big day Monday. I've got a big meeting in Monday, South Manchester. So I'm hoping I can give you some positive news next week. First meeting, we made contact, arranged a meeting, so could be exciting times ahead. Could be a good contact, this one, so I'm looking forward to that. Mod 1 next week. Well done. Long live Gunners 10. Mod 1 next week. Long live Gunners. That's got to be Arsenal, so that's down in London somewhere, I would imagine. Or am I barking up the wrong tree? Wayne, we'll give Charlie a call to see if there's any updates on doing my Mod 1 again. You should have another test. Can do it at any of your schools if I can get it done sooner. Yeah. So you've got a date, Wayne. You've got a date. Maybe that was the first date he gave you that was available, but it's always changing. So if you want an earlier one and you're pretty flexible, let him know because he'll put you on the list. But yeah, you could go Wigan, Northwich, or Manchester. Should have passed the last one, Wayne, anyway. Arsenal fan in the Midlands. Right. So Birmingham somewhere. Is it Birminghamish? Not too far from us. We've got a lad come up to us, to Eccles from Birmingham today. Hayder, I believe, you got a coach up to us, Hayder. I mean, that's some dedication, that. We've had people come in, people fly in, people fly from Europe over. Had a few people fly in from Europe, do the training with us in Manchester. Had people come up from London. So we do get people from all around. So, looking good. I'm going to be leaving you all on a high. And I am back on tomorrow night. No, Sunday night. I'm back on Sunday night, and that is a Q&A session with Bob the Biker, not Rob from RJH. Q&A session with Bob the Biker. So if anybody wants to see that, then please do join me on Sunday evening. But likewise, thank you all very much for joining. Been a pleasure. Thanks for your company. Have a good weekend. Get on those bikes if the weather's good. And thanks for your time, everybody. I will see you all soon. Bye for now.